So I finally get to the site. I pull up. There's fire trucks. There's police. I'm like, what is going on? I get out of the car and one of the firemen approached me. I see them hosing off my car. They're hosing it down. And I'm like, is my car on fire?
Welcome back to Zempath Radio. I'm your host, Ryan San. This is the fourth interview that we did so far. Can't believe it. It seems like just yesterday we started this journey. And like I said, we're already on the fourth installment. Unbelievable. Anyways, today I'm sitting down with Chrissy, the owner of We Care Transportation, operating out of Loch Sheldrake, New York. Today's episode, we're going to be discussing everything insurance. So if you're one of the ones on online forums or just generally have a lot of questions around this topic, you're definitely going to want to stick around to the end of this video because we're going to be covering it all. If you found this video helpful, please leave a comment below. Let us know what we're doing right, and let us know what kind of questions you would like us to ask in the future. That will really help us out with the content. But before we dive into today's interview, I want to tell you about Zempath, our new dispatch software. Zempath makes scheduling trips so much easier. It's fully customizable, it's simplistic, and it lives right in your browser. So you don't even need to download anything extra. It's very easy to get up and running and get started with. If you're looking to get started with using software and not ready to commit because of pricing, guess what? Today is your lucky day. It's 100% free and there's no credit card required. So there's no hassle. We will leave a link in the comments. Check it out. Let us know what you think. And without further ado, Chrissy, welcome to Zempath.
Hey, how are you?
So tell us, how did you first get started in the NEMT space?
I wanted nothing to do with the NEMT industry, to be honest with you. I am actually a bookkeeper by trade. I opened my own bookkeeping firm in 2006, and I was living a very happy, peaceful, successful life as a bookkeeper. And one of my bookkeeping clients became a NEMT taxi company. So a lot of people in the NEMT industry, it seems like on these forums, are strictly NEMT. So I just want to be clear that I do NEMT and taxi. So if somebody needs a ride to the grocery store or to Walmart, Target, whatever, we provide those services too. But he became one of my biggest clients in my bookkeeping firm. And as I was doing his bookkeeping and being present in his office and seeing all of the drama and all of the stories and all of the headaches, but also seeing the money come in. Let's not get it wrong. I was seeing the money come in, but I saw all the headaches that went with it. And I really was like, I want nothing to do with this industry. I'm glad I'm just a bookkeeper. I get to come and leave and I don't have to deal with all this. But then one of his competitors went up for sale and he came to me one day and said, you really should buy this guy out. And I was like, never in a million years. Like, I'm good over here. I don't need this. And his approach was, mutually beneficial, of course. Why would he want to, sell? Why would he want me to become his competitor? And it was because he didn't want anybody else to become his competitor, and he trusted me. And he knew that the guy that was selling was not going to sell to him because they did not get along. So he helped me actually buy the small NEMT company, and it was a taxi company also. They only had 4 cars, maybe 7 staff at the time.
Wow.
He helped me buy it. And even though I wanted really nothing to do with it, but I also knew, as a woman observing how his business was run, I was always in the back of my mind critiquing, like, I would do this different. And I think he should do that a little different. And so I was, I took on the challenge. I was like, all right, let's give it a whirl, because I think I could do a little better than him. And I don't think he thought I could. And I
showed him, right?
Money. Yeah, I did. So ironically, I bought that company in 2016 with 4 cars, about 7 staff. By pre-COVID, I was up to 2 locations, about 20 cars, 30 something staff, and I was really giving him a run for his money.
Wow.
During COVID, he asked me if I wanted to buy him out, and we negotiated for a few months, and January 1st, I actually absorbed his business, and now he retired, and I have pretty much the monopoly in my area.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
So you're just out there killing it. So
I am, and I hate it. I hate the industry. No, I'm just kidding.
It's like, it's almost like, like when opportunity falls into your lap, that's how you know it's a sign, right?
That's what I was like. I would have been stupid to turn it down. I took it as a challenge. I was like, I know nothing about running a business. I learned very quickly that I am a horrible manager. So I knew quickly I had to hire a manager. I am terrible. I was supposed to fire somebody yesterday and I chickened out. Like I couldn't even terrible. So I think that's one of the, the best advices I can give with anybody, because now I run two successful businesses. I own commercial properties, I have rental properties, I'm doing my thing out here, but you have to really identify your weakness and own it. Like I own my weakness. I am a terrible manager and my manager is amazing and she does the hard stuff that I don't want to do, which makes my burden much less. But this is a really hard industry for sure.
So was it like a rough start when getting started? Yeah, how was that process getting started?
Was blessed that I walked into like kind of a turnkey operation. The guy already had an office, he already had a dispatching desk. I mean, they did everything by hand with paper and pen. There was no software or anything like that, which
the operations are already in place.
We need a software program, but he already had drivers in place. So I kind of walked into a business that was already operating very slow, and it wasn't really a very profitable business when I walked into it, but I was able to at least piggyback off that and grow it and expand it from there.
I see. So it made things easier that the operations are already in place and you can just like kind of go based off what was already in place, right?
Exactly. Yeah. And I had the resource of this mentor that already owned a successful NEMT company that I knew, who to go to for insurance. I know who to go to for, any help that I needed. I knew kind of the ins and outs, the intricacies of the business. And I could always just, bounce my questions off of him. That's why I always tell people in the NEMT group, if I can help in any way, like I would love to give back in that way, because without that resource, it's really hard to know how to navigate the systems,
Absolutely. So when starting out, what's the ideal types of vehicles to acquire when starting? Is it a van or is it?
I always, at this point, Toyota Siennas. Minivans are the only way to go, at least for my area and what we kind of operate. Through the years, I did buy a few regular sedans. I have a Nissan Altima. I have a Toyota Camry. But there's more cases than not that the people don't fit or it's uncomfortable for them to get in and out of because they're much lower. Where a minivan, I've never had a person say like, no, this vehicle doesn't work for me. So minivans is pretty much my entire fleet. I always had Dodge Caravans or Chrysler Town and Countries, but throughout the years, I've learned that the Toyota Siennas really hold their value for much longer. I have one still going right now with almost 400,000 miles on it. It purrs like a kitten. So, we keep going with it.
So would you recommend someone start off with a used or a newer model?
Yeah, I go used. Honestly, and it goes back to the insurance. Insurance is already so expensive. I don't get full coverage. It's just unaffordable. In the rates that the states are paying for Medicaid, transportation, or whatever, I can't profit by getting full coverage. So because of that, I won't buy brand new. I usually pre-COVID, I was picking up, used minivans for about $7,000-8,000 was like my budget, with like under 150,000 miles on it. Post-COVID, I can't find them for like less than $12,000 right now in New York, but that's usually I send my mechanic. I have a full-time mechanic. I usually send him out, tell him, go find me a good used minivan, $12,000 budget. I try to get them all black to have like a uniform color of my fleet. So.
Yeah, I think this is a side thing. I know the black and the pink, it really pops.
Yeah,
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah, me too. Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's hard to keep your fleet all one color, though. That's challenging.
That's like a whole other sector, right? Like branding. So what can you expect to pay for like one of these vans? Let's say like an older model. Decent mileage, but not like not overly.
Yeah, like I said, I'm picking them up right now for about 12. I got one a couple weeks ago for like 11.5 and one like a month ago for about 12 and change. Like I said, pre-COVID, it was much more affordable, but that's what I'm looking at now for each of my new vans.
I see. And are you just like shopping around online for these vans, or are you?
Yeah, I don't really have a go-to spot, to be honest. And then there's the delay of, it's always a hassle because there's the delay of DMV, getting the van here with no plates. I don't have dealer plates. And then I have to, have it towed to the office from wherever I get it from. So I try to stay somewhat local if I can. and then going through the hassle of waiting for a DMV appointment. You know, COVID changed the whole world. So
Yeah,
it used to be
yeah.
easy to get plates. Now it's like a whole week. Could be a month before I can get license plates on my cars.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So long, like the waiting process is so long, huh?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that insurance is expensive, you know,
Very.
and it seems like for newer vehicles, I mean, I'm sure it'd probably be like a higher price, and then the older the vehicle, the probably less the price, I'm guessing. So well, how else does vehicle selection, you know, you named a lot of different models of vehicles. How else does vehicle selection impact insurance options, if it does at all?
It really doesn't. My insurance specifically doesn't have any specific requirements of age of the vehicle or mileage or anything like that. It's pretty much a flat premium across the board. But the thing that I always keep in mind is that my insurance does not cover any damage to the vehicle. So I could buy this vehicle today for $12,000, and tomorrow it can get into a major accident and I'm out $12,000 because I have, you know, I don't have collision on them. I don't have full coverage, because it's not required, and it's, you know, I have to take that risk. So I always keep that in mind when I'm buying a vehicle. I am not looking for something that doesn't have a scratch or a dent on it, because, you know, it's probably going to get a scratch or a dent on it in the next week or two. So I'm not 100% like picky when it comes to that stuff, as long as it is safe and reliable and, you know, good operating condition. I have my mechanic kind of look it over for me, because I used to do them myself and I was terrible at picking out vans. I horrible. I always got one with like a bad motor, or the transmission was slipping. I didn't know. I was like, hey, the windshield wipers work. I don't know. The radio,
it has
fine.
tires, right? It has tires.
I think the tires are good. I put gas in it. I don't know what.
So like, I know a lot of times, you know, for insurance purposes, like if the vehicle is a certain color, like if it's red or something like that, it make it a little bit higher price. Does that also play a part in like branding and insurance companies with NEMT?
Just for branding, I've always tried to keep my vans black with the pink because it pops, and that's my color. Also in my municipality, we're required to have medallions, which is like a license by the city to let us do business in that city. And one of the cities that we have medallions in requires that all of our vehicles be one solid color of our choosing, which is black. But it's very challenging to do that, because you're already working with a limited, especially after COVID, it's very hard to find used minivans in our area. And if you have to be specific about the color, it's even harder. So my mechanic kind of learned how to paint. So now he knows how to make them black if I need them to be black.
Nice. Make it
that's
easier.
really just for branding and for the municipality's purposes. But for insurance, they're not particular about the color.
Okay, so there's nothing to take in consideration about the color and stuff like that. And
no, they're more concerned about the driver. They do more research on every time we hire a driver, we have to get insurance approval that they're qualified that the insurance deems them qualified to drive.
Oh, wow. So it's like a whole process, even for each individual driver.
Everybody, as soon as they come in, we just like, give us a copy of your license before you even fill out an application. So don't waste your time. We're going to send your license to insurance. If they approve you, then let's talk. Yeah.
So when choosing insurance, what are some things that really stand out for you? Some things that you're looking for in a good coverage? Is there anything specific?
Honestly, I wish I could be that choosy. It's my understanding from what my broker told me in my area here in New York, specifically, like there's not many options. I'm only aware of one insurance company that is actually insuring NEMTs in this area. So I don't even think I have a choice to be picky about it.
I see. And most of your trips are coming from broker. You mentioned broker. Most of your trips are coming from brokers, or not mention the taxi side of things.
Yeah. The other side is brokers. Yeah.
Other side is brokers. I see. And so when it's a newer company, just getting started, I know since you bought into the industry, but for people that's starting out that didn't buy into the industry, is there higher premiums for newer companies? Because you mentioned newer drivers.
I believe so, yeah, because I get like I get rated every year or something, and they base my premium off how I rate, like based on any incidences or accidents or anything like that. So I'm pretty sure you get probably a 0 rating if you have no experience in the industry. So I would assume that the rates are probably higher. I'm not 100%.
So they have to just like kind of take the bullet on that one. It's just like, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know, like, some people they were reaching out to, I was seeing people even in forums and online, they're like, oh, how can I, pay insurance? It's under $100 and like do this and do that. And it's like, it doesn't even sound like realistic even for regular cars, right? It seems like very low.
Right. I'm not sure what people's expectations are. I was disappointed to find out the coverage more so than the premium, because I'm like, okay, like, you pay a premium and then you think you're protected, right? That's the point of insurance, that I'm protected if something goes wrong. But in every case, I literally bought, here's one of my crazy stories, if you don't mind.
Yeah, let's
I
hear,
literally just bought a van 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
About $12,000 used van. I had to wait the whole process to get the plates on it. I get the plates on it, and my sister-in-law helped me bring it to my office. I said, you drive it to my shop. I'll go ahead of you, and then I'll bring you back home, right? So she's driving along on the highway, and the car starts smoking. Now, brand new, right? Just got it. My mechanic actually picked it out. So I'm assuming like, okay, must be something silly. Maybe a hose popped. No big deal. I said, pull over. I'll come get you. I'll call the tow company. So she pulls over, then she messages me and she said, I don't know what's going on, but now the fire truck's here, the police are here. I don't know what's happening. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, is the car on fire? She's like, no, it's just smoking. But I think somebody drove by and called 911 because I thought the car was on fire. So, okay, well, I'll be right there. So I'm on my way. I call the tow company. I said, hey, I have a car broken down. They go, oh, you're the one that's on fire on the long side of the highway, right? I said, my car is not on fire. Why is everybody keep talking about my car on fire? So I finally get to the site. I pull up. There's fire trucks. There's police. I'm like, what is going on? I get out of the car and one of the firemen approached me. I see them hosing off my car. They're hosing it down. And I'm like, is my car on fire? And the police officer said, I think there was like there was a little bit of a spark coming from like the coil pack or something, he tells me. And I'm like, okay, I thought it was just overheating. So now I'm like concerned. So they finish, they're good. The tow truck comes, they bring the car to my shop. My mechanic looks at it. He showed me too, and I'm not a mechanic, but I know, we look under the hood, there is nothing burnt. Nothing was on fire. But now they ruined my motor because they soaked it with water when it wasn't even on fire. So these are the situations where you're like, damn. Like,
but here's the thing. There's a good side of the story, right? If the news crew was there, that's free PR. That's free PR.
Right. I was hoping somebody would have posted about it on Facebook. Look, We Care's on fire. And then, yeah, exactly.
The whole city knows
who it is. Just as good as good publicity.
Exactly.
No, I got no benefit out of that car with no motor.
Did all that and just
and the thing with the insurance, I didn't even call them because they don't cover. I already know they don't cover any of this. This is just like, if anything, I could have called the fire department and maybe been like, you guys made a mistake. But I was like, they were just doing their job. They made sure everybody was safe. That's their job. And now I have to pay for a new motor in this car that,
always something, right?
That's a day in the life. Day in the life of this industry.
So what percentages of your business comes from non-emergency versus non-emergency versus yeah, exactly.
Yeah, good question. So like I said, when I was just me before I bought out my competitor, I was doing about 90% NEMT and 10% taxi. I was and my competitor was doing the opposite. He was doing like 90% taxi and only a little bit of NEMT. And that's why I feel like we kind of balanced each other really well. We were like strong competitors in this industry in our area. We were like the top two companies in this area, and we got along really well. Like we were able to just kind of feed off each other, balance off each other. We were best friends. We would go have drinks together and tell all of our crazy stories, but we also were like fierce competitors where sometimes we'd be like, back off of my customer. But now I absorbed his company, so I got a lot more of the taxi side of it. So now I'm still going pretty strong with NEMT. So I would say I'm about 75-25.
75%, 25?
Yeah, 75 NEMT.
I see. Yeah. And is the owner, is he still involved with the company at all? Like, is he still somehow hands-on?
And please tell him to stop getting involved with the company. He's not. No, he was kind enough to owner finance the deal. So, he sold me his company. He's happily retired, but he does like to give me input every once in a while.
I feel like no one ever really wants to fully retire though, right? Like it's like why not just help out a friend, it's like
right. And I know he's so, like, he built his baby, it becomes your child, and you raise it and you nourish it, and it was his child for so long, and now I kind of adopted his child, and now I'm taking care of it my way.
He comes to the office just to hang out. Just, hey, actually, Chrissy, how you doing today?
For my office, because I don't want him too involved in my business. No, he's a great guy. I have a lot of respect for him. We've bumped heads a lot over the years, but he's the one that got me into this industry. Some days I hate him for it, and some days I love him for it. But yeah.
So you mentioned, well, I don't think, did you mention how many vehicles you have? How many vehicles are you currently up to date?
If you want to count the one that's down because the turkey hit the windshield 2 days ago.
Yikes.
I have 22.
22. All caravans, right? All minivans.
One of them is a Nissan Altima that's just still hanging around.
I see.
The rest are caravans, yeah.
I see. So let's talk numbers. So how profitable is this industry? How much are you making annually?
Gross.
Gross, yeah.
Gross, I am, because I absorbed this new company January 1st, this year I'm anticipating about 2 million.
Woo!
Yeah.
Is it getting hot in here?
Yeah. But profits.
I love it. I love it. So one thing that I noticed about, like, what really stood out as I was going through, your Facebook and, and your website, you have a lot of like community pictures, everyone looks so happy. You have like, just people hanging out, I seen one where you're cutting the cake,
Oh, yeah.
And so it looks like community is very important for you. So what can riders expect riding with you versus others?
Well, we really try. I mean, we get kind of sometimes lost in the hustle and bustle because we're so busy, but we really, try to, that's what I love so much about a lot of my senior drivers. They really have a passion for these customers. So if we happen to notice one of our customers isn't on our roster, we're like, hey, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? Like, we have that kind of family, family atmosphere, or family relationship with them. If we know one of them is going through a rough patch, or if they're in need or whatever, we try to, help them. My staff will pull together and be like, hey, I'm trying to collect baby clothes for this customer. She just had a baby and she has nothing, or something like that. So
yeah,
we really try to, do that. A lot of our clients are somehow, we ended up in like the niche, and I'm not mad about it because I feel honored to be able to help these people, but we somehow ended up in the niche of people in recovery. And so most of our clients are people in recovery. And, my drivers a few years ago, I heard them talking around the water cooler that they wanted to get Narcan trained. And I fully supported it. And I had a trainer come in and we had a whole class about Narcan training, and they all got kits. And that's how much, they really just kind of care about the clients, and they just want to be available in case something happens.
It sounds like you're not just providing a service. It sounds like you're woven into the community, like the fact that you're going above and beyond, when people, are, having kids or, or doing this or doing that, and you provide extra support behind that.
Yeah, we definitely try to.
So you have a very, very important role in your community, it sounds like.
Yeah,
I see.
Sure.
And so how can people book with, We Care?
Well, by calling, we have, our numbers are on our Facebook page. You can message us. We are in beta right now, but we have an app coming out very soon where you can download the app and you can just book directly through the app.
Awesome. iOS, Android?
Both.
Awesome. Yeah. So you said when is the date that app is coming out?
I'm not sure. I don't have a date yet. We're still tweaking it, so I didn't want to announce it too much yet. So this is the first time I'm even mentioning it out there in the world.
So everybody got the first. Amazing. Yeah. And so how has you mentioned the pandemic, and the pandemic has a negative effect on everyone, right? It's tough on everyone. How has company culture affected work performance for you? Like, I mean, how does the company culture, you know, I mentioned the Facebook group, everyone looks happy, cutting cake and stuff like that. So community and work culture, you know, like how has that impacted the work performance on drivers and other staff?
It's hard. You know, I'm gonna be honest. The driver, you know, NEMT drivers, at least in this area, I don't have experience in other areas, but it's not really a career, you know,
Mhm.
and nobody's out there saying, I want to be a professional NEMT driver. You know,
Mhm.
it's so the turnover is really high, which makes it really hard sometimes to like, you know, I try to become family and, you know, get to know my drivers really intimately. And then it's like they're gone in a month or two because a lot of these people, you know, they're here, you know, maybe during the school year because their kids are in school, they have some free time, or it's somebody that's retired just looking for something to do here and there, and then they find something different or, you know, whatever. So it is hard. We try to have, you know, company parties and events and anniversaries and celebrations and celebrate birthdays and things like that. But it's really hard. I feel like the bigger you grow, the harder it is to kind of, you know, keep all that together. We're
Keep
also
the
open
demand.
practically 24/7.
Mm.
So anytime we want to have an event, it's like we either need to close or have the event twice so we can accommodate everybody. So, you know,
I see, I see. And
but
so the events is what keeps the morale a little bit higher for
I
the
feel like it
employees.
is because these guys, you know, to hang out with your coworkers outside of work is a whole different ball game, you know, to meet each other's families. It's so important. I always loved having the Christmas parties because it was nice to meet everybody's children and their families and, you know, really see what their home life was kind of about.
Absolutely. So yeah, so what does the future of We Care look like? You know?
You know, when I bought out my competitor, I kind of made a game plan that I really only want to be in this industry for 10 years and
Mhm.
be done because I've seen too many people get burnt out by it. It's exhausting. It's exhausting. It's emotionally draining. It's lucrative, but it's like comes with a cost. So I told myself I was making a 10-year plan and then I was going to go be a bank teller for 9 to 5 or something, you know,
Mhm.
something
Is that still
simple,
the plan?
no drama. So
Is that
that's that's my plan. But you know, we're making really good money right now. So I don't know. Then part of me, you know, I have dreams of having, you know, a couple 15 passenger party buses, you
Mhm.
know. I had one before COVID. We had to take it off the road during COVID and now I'm trying to get it back going again. But we wanted to do, you know, for wedding, we get a lot of calls for weddings and events. And I kind of wanted to get like a little party bus kind of thing and rent that out. I've toyed around with the idea of getting ambulettes, you know, like a stretcher or wheelchair accessible something. But in my area, believe it or not, the broker pays less for an ambulette than it does for a regular minivan, which is crazy to
Interesting.
me because it
Interesting.
costs so much more, you know. So I don't know. I don't know. I might expand if I'm looking for a new challenge and into like one of those kind of directions with a, you know, 15 passenger bus or possibly an ambulette or two, or I might just ride it out the way it is and, you know,
Maybe
see
you can
what
get someone else to run it, right? That's also an option too, right?
yeah,
I
yeah.
think you don't have to work at all. You can just, I mean, like you probably still, you know, probably still like
Well,
touch
that's kind
bases,
of
but
I'm kind of there now. Like it took years to get here, but I'm so proud of where we're at right now. I really am so proud. My manager, my dispatchers have done an amazing job of getting everything moving along with software so
Mhm.
helpful to get everything is kind of running like a really well-oiled machine right now. Like we have so many systems in play. We started from no systems, right? And now we implemented all these systems. So things are just kind of happening where
Mhm.
sometimes I come into the office and I kind of am like, all right, what am I doing today? Because everybody's doing everything that needs to get done. I'm like, what am I supposed to do? You know, just here to be present and do bookkeeping. So my taxi NEMT company has become my number one bookkeeping client now on the bookkeeping side. So but yeah, I mean it kind of does run itself. I have the freedom. I had children late in life. You know, I have two babies at home, a 3 and a 1 year old. So I'm at a really good place right now where it can run if I need to just be home with my children or be available to them. And then if I want to come to the office and get a break from the kids, I can do that too.
Chrissy, I think that's so perfect because, like, you know, I always used to say, you know, I wish that you know, my parents had something that they can pass down to,
Yeah.
you know, me and stuff like that. So, me, because I have a brother too, me and my brother. But the fact is, you know, you have all these like accolades under your belt. You know, you're running multiple different,
Right.
different ventures and stuff like that. there's a lot of value in that, right? Like there's gonna be a lot of different knowledge that you're gonna be able to pass down, and I think you're killing it. Don't ever think it's being overlooked, for sure.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Is there anything you would like to promote? Like let everybody know. Like I know you're always hiring. I've seen your Facebook. You're always for hiring. Always hiring.
Yeah.
So yeah, if anyone's in
everybody wants to drive, all shifts are available. The summer is coming up. We get really super busy in the summer, so it's a lot of great opportunity for anybody. It's really some of the people that come in here and drive absolutely love it. They're like, this is the best job I ever had. It's just kind of easy. Just get in and drive. You meet really cool people. Some people it's not for them. I'm not a big driver. I don't.
How can they apply? Do they just apply on Facebook?
Reach out to us on Facebook. We'll send you, we'll make sure you're approved through the insurance first, and then we'll send an application over.
Okay. So they get approved from insurance, and then they would just send you a DM. Is that how that works?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So definitely be sure to check out the Facebook. We'll put a link in the description of all your social contacts, how they can contact you and stuff like that. All right.
Great. Thanks.
And is there anything else you'd like to, kind of put out there?
No, just if you're getting into the industry, just know kind of what you're in for. It's tough. It's hard, but it's challenging and it's exciting at the same time. And we're doing a really great service to the people in our communities that, need transportation to their medical appointments for survival. And, keep killing it, keep staying strong. And, I started with 4 and I'm at 22. I don't even know how it happened.
It happens just like that, huh?
It just happened, so just stay consistent. That's it. Just keep showing up, I guess.
Where can people find you?
Facebook. I'm still old school with Facebook.
Is it in Instagram or anything else? Or
I don't mess around too much on Instagram, but I'm on there. You can probably find me.
So Facebook is the main thing.
Yeah.
All right. Facebook it is. All right, everyone. That was today's episode. I hope you really enjoyed, the conversation, talking with Chrissy and learning a lot about the NEMT space. Until next time, take care.